Gentlemen, start out with you, Joe. Where are you heading to? You're obviously on a cruise, on a mission. What's the main focal point?
We're heading to Nanaimo for the first regional session, and we're looking forward to it.
Okay. As Vice President, Darryl, you've been on this route before. What do you expect to be different this time?
Well, you bet I have. We started with the CCMC. We did the regional sessions, and that one we were just to talk about the story, tell people make awareness of what was going on. And this time, everybody knows what's going on, and I think we're there. I think we're coming to a point where we say a new way forward, and that's what we're doing. We're going to have people participating in what we're doing, and it's going to be fabulous.
So, Joe, you talked earlier about a paradigm shift when we were off camera. Would you explain why you think this is the beginning of that?
Well, I think there's the old guard when it comes to Métis politics in British Columbia, and I think we're moving through a paradigm shift right now where people are starting to understand that it's not about some zero-sum politics. It's about joining people together who have different ideas and who want to make a better community, want to make a better Métis nation in Canada, in British Columbia, and in Canada. And we have a team together that's working to that end, and we're really excited about that because we have a common vision. We're attracting youth, we're attracting people who weren't involved in Métis politics before. They're realizing that it's not just about power, money, land, and rights, but it's about people, it's about belonging, it's about community.
Okay, well, those are good sentiments. It's going to be, obviously, this is the first meeting, so Nanaimo is going to give you a bit of a temperature taking as to how you'll be received this time. So thank you both. Richard, this is a pretty big night in Nanaimo. We're at the Coast Bastion, and in about 15 minutes, people are going to come. What do you hope to accomplish as a BCMF board member with tonight's initial gathering? It's the second of its kind. The regions were covered before a year and a half ago. What will be different tonight?
As far as my hopes are, we're going to set the pattern for the rest of BC. If we start out in a good positive mode and get it moving along, and I think maybe that's what happened in the rest of BC as well. And the people I see here coming in with an open mind, not all of us in complete agreement, but they're still here to talk and listen. So, and I think the majority of them now are looking to move ahead into the future instead of just sitting on their behinds and waiting for it to happen, but do things.
So the door is open, the welcome mat is out for Métis.
Yes. Any side of the coin you want to, if they are even practicing Métis Nation of BC members, maybe it's time for them to come through and really give it some deep thought, because we're moving ahead. We're not waiting for them or anybody else. So I think that's as good as any.
We're rolling. The famous Beverly Lambert, Cultural Ambassador, BCMF, board member, integral part, dancer, singer, jigger, and just about anything else if I have a look at that equipment. What do you got in your hand, Beverly?
Well, I always carry everything that reminds me of home. And I have my washboard. We used to wash clothes all the time, so that's our musical instrument. Anytime we were in our kitchen and we wanted a party to go on, we would grab anything and everything to make people laugh, to be a part of the party that was going on. And I also brought my bathtub here. That's what we used to fight over when we were raised in a family of 19. And so that all this reminds me of home and how I was raised and what it used to be like, raised in our culture and our music and our dancing. This is all a part of who we are. So in order to keep that going and alive, we must incorporate it and stay to the basics. It's like have fun together.
Keith, you're on the road again, second time in 2 years. Here you are in Nanaimo, Coast Bastion, waiting to see who shows up and what kind of spirit is different as you travel the province this time. What are your expectations of tonight?
You know what, last time we came it was all about trying to help people understand why we needed other solutions to fix the MNBC, but now we're moving on, and I mean our title is A New Way Forward. We're rebuilding, and we're just going to give people a democratic alternative. I mean, that's what this is all about. We believe Métis people deserve better governance, and you know, those that want to join us can. Those that don't can try and fix a sinking ship, and all the best to them, because we provided sound solutions based off some of us that have decades of experience doing that kind of work, and they saw different, and the ramifications of that at MNBC speak for themselves. So, you know, we're just going to keep building. I'm really excited, and you know, these things always make me nervous. Doesn't matter how many times I've done them, but I'm just so proud. I believe in this. It's what I need to do. It drives my soul, and it's really important to me, and it's important to the people I'm working with, and so I want to be that leader I need to be right now and help rebuild the nation. And it's not an easy position. I've got a lot of people that I've, you know, some aren't really necessarily understanding what this is about, but I know that showing commitment and the value of dedication and honesty and integrity is going to show through yet again, and that's all we keep doing. So it's you know, we'll see who shows up tonight.
So tonight, there is a lot of things, as we know, plaguing our nation. We know that there's a lot of challenges, and I don't know how much those of you in the room are aware of all of this, but you know, hopefully tonight we shed some light on our vision for why we're rebuilding. And you know, it's really not a session about, I guess, you know, sitting in a room and talking about how bad everything is. What we're trying to do is hopefully instill some, I guess, some hope that there's a better vision. Hopefully I can help explain to some of you in the room tonight how we got to where we are, and why did the BC Métis Federation even come to be. A lot of people aren't tuned into everything that's going on. We understand that there's lots of information, but I hope tonight you'll leave here maybe a little more inspired to go and talk to your family, your friends, your colleagues, people that, you know, BC Métis Federation might have a point of view that's worth listening to. Our website is extremely busy. It's a place we used to give the most up-to-date information. You might have seen we do things like an online weekly coffee talk show, we call it. We have 3,000 to 5,000 people every week watching that show right now. It's a tremendous communication tool for us. But our website is equally as busy. We have basically about 12 to 1,500 independent IP addresses looking at our website every week, looking at about 7,000 to 8,000 pages. So it's an extremely busy website. People are researching, they're watching the issues unfold, and they're really wondering what's going on. And it's really, I think, things. I need you to all understand that our BC Métis Federation regional gatherings are funded by the BC Métis Federation through personal donations and initial economic development resources created by the work of the BC Métis Federation. Like I said, we're not government funded. We've created an economic development venture. We've got some revenue coming in from that now. We really believe that we need to recreate a new provincial. I say that because I think that's part of political maturity. And I think our nation yet has not learned political maturity. There's nothing wrong with having different views. There's nothing wrong, it's healthy to have different views. And there's nothing wrong with expressing different views. That's what democracy is supposed to be. Just because we don't agree with a certain provincial organization set of board of directors doesn't mean that we should all jump on a bandwagon and ostracize and kick people out. And that's really what we think is happening. We were an ad hoc coalition, originally formed in September 2009, and in fact, for the record, I wasn't a founding member. It was actually Erlene Bitterman and that man right there, Daryl Piper, and they got together because they were worried about after the Métis Nation BC had bought a school. That was the first real issue. That, and I guess for Erlene, it was the election. CCMC made numerous efforts to support education and awareness for Métis citizens about the issues. And I have to say numerous. There was a website or a blog that was set up. There was all sorts of information, community meetings. They invested personal resources to present ideas and promote open dialogue, and organized their own regional sessions and released a public report at the completion of the regional sessions in February 2011. So there was no reason for the coalition of concerned Métis citizens to do this, but the group of people that got involved, and I joined them because of their passion. We actually released public reports. We actually said exactly what we heard. We actually did this. No financial. It was about what we thought had to be talked about. So by February 2011, CCMC had defined the issues into 6 priorities and described these in a document that was entitled the Blueprint Document and MNBC Debt Recovery Plan. What were the 6 issues that we defined everything into in our work? Well, we had concerns about the MNBC governance structure, the inconsistency of it on a regional, local, and a provincial scale. There was no administrative operational business plan that we could tell. In fact, MNBC overspent on administration in the last 3 years to the tune of many hundreds of thousands of dollars. In fact, it's now accumulated to millions of dollars of debt. And that's because there was no administrative operational plan. So we were saying that's an issue. The election process from 2008 had lots of issues. The Métis school, you know, they bought a school. I still can't believe people in this province, they bought a school. 11 board of directors decided they could just go ahead and put a non-profit society to debt with no consultation with their membership. and bought a school and borrowed $3 million. And they said at the time that within 2 years, that school and all the money they'd be making would be paying money back to the communities. And you know, I don't want to repeat things I've said to some of you before, but here we are 3 years later, and it is the exact opposite. They've gone millions further into debt because they can't keep up with cash managing the debt that's created. There's been no money to the communities, although they claims they were. And so that's a real serious issue. So it's an issue because of financial mismanagement, but it's an issue because of the way decisions were made without consultation with the membership, and that's not good governance. It doesn't matter who you are. I'd be saying that in any association I was involved in. The catering company. So another thing MNBC decided they were going to do was open up a catering company. They were convincing themselves and everyone else they were going to make $500,000 in the first year, $600,000 in the second year, and you know, it was going to go up and up and up, and all this money was going to pay for everything they needed to do. Well, the catering company has since closed. They lost money, and you know, it's failed, and so that was an issue for us. We tried to prevent that actually back in the day. We knew it was going to, and not because we wanted to be, you know, naysayers, because some of us in the BC Métis Federation have extensive experience in business management, and I understand just because you open up a business doesn't mean you're going to make money. Very carefully what's happening with the Métis people right now in BC, not because of our situation, because they're so upset at any position that the MNBC might have taken in relation to that project without consulting with them. And I don't know if you guys saw, we put a letter on our website, you know, the Haida Nation. Gujaw, very powerful man, extremely powerful leader in the First Nation world, you know. They've had huge constitutional fights brought to the Supreme Court of Canada and won time and time again. And there we have an MNBC representative in their backyard saying, well, there's Métis people here, and yeah, you know, I'm going to, like, you know, pretend I know what's best in your backyard. I don't know if you guys read what we put on our website, but I can tell you they're very upset. And that's happening all over the place with that hearing right now. And it would be different if they had a mandate at MNBC. It would be different if they had talked to the people about saying, should we do this? But it's not happening. It won't happen. And they're going to tell you after the fact, oh, this was good for you. We needed to do this. You know, that stuff's got to stop.
Some preliminary constitutional matters, and had a big part in the handout that accompanies the material here. My one comment is that I think the British Columbia Métis Federation should stress what makes the Métis unique, and that's our history, heritage, and culture. So I'll get Terry on from there.
I just want to say to Howie Tillicum, welcome friends, but in Chinook jargon or Chinook Wawa, the traditional Michif language of the Pacific Northwest. And in doing my research, I went back and found all sorts of information on constitutions. Constitutions have been around for hundreds and thousands of years, but in the process, there have been good constitutions and there have been bad constitutions. The one constitution that we are very familiar with is the American Constitution. And in looking into it, I found that something very interesting. The Métis people, the three most important nationalities that produce the Métis people are the Scottish, the French, and the First Nation.
Do Métis people support Enbridge and the Northern Gateway pipelines? MNBC is telling the world you do. Let your voice be heard Saturday, March 17th at the Sheraton Guildford Hotel at 6 p.m. sharp, before it's too late.